Time is 6:03 p.m. We will call this meeting to order of the City of Hardy City Council for a regular business meeting here at the Hardy Civic Center in the front room, 301 West Main Street, Hardy, Arkansas. Glad to see everybody found we're meeting here, not the Hardy Gym this month. This has been the call to order. If y'all don't mind to please silence your phones, we'd sure appreciate it. At this time, we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Almighty God, we thank you for the freedoms that we do have in America. Be with us this evening as we discuss your business for the Hardy City. In the name of Christ, we thank you. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated.
Mayor, where's the signing sheet? I need to sign it.
I believe it's right here if you'd like to sign.
Yes, please. Here.
Signed up for you already?
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, we've had our call to order, Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation. At this time, we'll have the councilman roll call.
Councilmember Berry.
Here.
Councilmember Clay Thomas. Here. Councilmember Sue Taylor.
Here.
Councilmember Kaufman. Here. Councilmember Smith. Here. Councilmember Quintana Dubois.
Here.
The mayor and myself are here as well.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, the next set of items here on our agenda this evening are approval of the minutes. We've got 4 sets of minutes here. The first one up for discussion and approval is the June 9th, 2025 regular business meeting minutes. If there's no corrections or additions to those minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve them as prepared and submitted.
So moved.
Okay, we've got a first from Ms. Laura Smith and a second from Ms. Sue Taylor to approve the minutes from June 9th, 2025 at the regular business meeting. Via voice vote, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next set of minutes comes from the July 14th, 2025 regular business meeting. If there's no corrections to those minutes, I'll entertain a motion as prepared.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Taylor. We've got a first from Ms. Sue Taylor.
Second.
And a second from Ms. Laura Smith to approve the minutes from July 14th, 2025. Via voice vote, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next set of minutes come from the budget work session on July 16th, 2025. Do I hear a motion to approve those as prepared?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Natalie. I've got a motion on the floor from Ms. Natalie to approve the minutes from July 16th.
I'll second.
I have a second from Ms. Clay Thomas to approve the minutes from July 16th. Via voice vote, all in favor of approving those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next set of minutes comes from a special business meeting held on July the 25th, 2025. Do I hear a motion to approve those set of minutes?
So moved.
Get a first from Ms. Laura Smith.
Second.
Had a second from Ms. Natalie. Sorry, Ms. Jenny. Via voice vote, all in favor of approving those minutes from July 25th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We've approved all set of minutes there. Thank you all very much. The next item on the agenda is the agenda review and approval. If there's no additions to this agenda as has been prepared, I'll entertain a motion to approve it as submitted.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Natalie. I've got a first
I'll
to approve
second
the agenda
that.
for tonight. Thank you, Dr. Berry. I've got a second from Mr. Tony Berry to approve the agenda for tonight. Via voice vote, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. We approve the agenda. We'll get right into our reports this evening. The first report is on city financials. Ms. Sharp, would you like to discuss those?
You'll notice there's some new things in the packet. Sorry, can you hear me? There's some new things that were added to the packet that were at the request of the council members. If there's any questions, I'm willing to entertain those. The other thing I was going to recommend everyone consider doing is archiving your packets. like keeping up with them in like a binder or something. That way you have the ability to just flip back and refer to any of those for needed information or questions about something that was last month or the month before. I think it'll be easier to see it as a fluid document. So, other than that, does anybody have any questions?
Financials have been updated as they
Yep.
were done last week.
I have a question. It's just a few questions. On where it says new construction under revenue and expenditures on the first page of general fund, and these are just some questions because I don't know. New construction or updates, what exactly is that? Is that new construction that the city is doing, or what new construction is that talking about?
Administratively, I think we kind of talked about this maybe last month and the month prior, and we've made a resolution with some amendments to that. It was to do some renovations at the city hall building.
Okay.
That's what that money was intended to be used for.
Okay, and then on where it says, I know under each one of the, it says, it's under administrative, where it says for all the utilities for the water, is that for the Johnson Center, or is that for city, what facility is that for?
Anything that's administrative would be like the city hall operations. So prior to the flood, it would have been the water bill at city hall. Now that the administrative offices have been put into the Johnson Center, that would be like the water bill at the Johnson Center.
Okay, and then on the insurance settlements, are those for, what losses were those for? Like this is on the third page of general fund?
Revenues, yes. That would have been from an insurance claim where one of the police department vehicles had an insurance claim file.
Okay. Let's see. On the library department, how are the funds to the library dispersed? And do they get like federal and state funds as well?
That would be a question for the county judge, because that's the county library. We just lease the building to the county.
Okay.
It's at a Hardy location, but that'd be a question for your county judge.
Okay.
Which they are looking at revamping some things as it pertains to the library and the county.
Okay. And then over on the Parks and Recreation, under line item 4331, where it says RV receipts non-taxable, what constitutes non-taxable?
That would have been so taxable is when you have a transaction where an item is back and forth. If it's a services in Arkansas are non-taxable. So if somebody had used like the dump station there for their RV park and was paying money to dump their sewage, that would be a non-taxable service. That's not been the case.
Okay, yeah, obviously, okay.
Not anyway.
Okay. And then on the contract services, what all is the only contract service that we have for parks, is it just the mowing?
I'd have to go in and look at that line and see exactly what's come out of there this year, but it would be mowing, the landscaping, leaf removal.
I mean, are those all done by different contractors, or is that the same
Spring River
person?
Landscaping does the landscaping and like the leaf removal in the fall, and handles cutting all the grass and weed eating, so that would be Spring River Landscaping. But if there's other items that pertains to Parks and Recreation as a whole, and they're not an employee of the city, they're typically paid out of contract services.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And if I can ever, sit down with you and go over those, I can show you any of that in the office. It'd be a little bit easier to look it up.
Okay.
If there are no other questions on the financial report, we'll move into the fire department. Chief Moore? Good evening, sir.
How are y'all doing?
Pretty blessed.
The fire department didn't have anything major in the month of July. We made it through the 4th of July without any firework-related fires. That's a good thing. We were busy though. We had a total of 49 calls. 30 of 31 of those being medical calls, 7 were, they're listed as good intent calls or canceled calls. So we had 7 canceled calls. 10 service calls, those fall under going out and helping the police department with traffic controls. And 1 hazardous condition call, but I'd have to go back and look up that one and see what it was. Any questions?
You know the grand total for the year so far?
Do what?
What's our grand total for the year?
So I looked at it today, we're at 276. And we're already
Through today.
Through today, yes. And we had 2 car fires today, so. As looking back towards last year, we were behind 4 calls. We had 276 last year. But on August 11th of last year, we also had 6 calls. We've only had 2 here, so. It was a full moon over the weekend, we didn't have any calls, so good.
And just while we're here, and everybody in the room, Sharp County is under a burn ban right now.
Yes, Sharp County is under a burn ban.
All the signs, the flip signs.
We finally got our signs put up. There should be one coming in any way into Horton. Also, there's signs on the highway coming out of Highland and going into Highland. Fulton County is not yet in a burn ban, so anything north of town, just be cautious. It's dry out there.
And on the prescribed burn, just to alert everybody for tomorrow.
Yes, the Game and Fish Commission is having a prescribed burn tomorrow. Even though it's a burn ban, they're allowed to burn. They will have people on it. They'll be burning off the game reserve. So it'll be a little smoky over in the hills.
Just want to make everybody aware of that. Thank you, and Captain Creasy, for getting the signs out. I appreciate it. The next report this evening comes from the Hardy Police Department and from Police Chief Michael Hemsky.
Good evening, everyone. Everything's going pretty good, the police department side of things. Like we were just about done with the summer, with the influx of visitors from out of town, we haven't had any major problem. School did start today. I'd like to remind everybody about the school buses and stop between school buses on both coming and going both directions. Get the lights on, the signs out. It is by law, you have to stop. We don't want any little kids to get hurt. So, other than that, that's about all I got.
Thank you, sir. Very much. The next report will come from the Public Works Department. Superintendent Morris, please.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't even know where to start. I know we've done 16 water leaks for the month, 3 sewer overflows, and we've done tons of brush hogging, but we're still way behind on brush hogging. We're getting 2 or 3 work orders a day on pothole and then brush hogging. We're going to get to it as soon as we can. Still got it on the list, but other than that, I haven't really got a whole lot. We did get a new alarm system, update alarm system for our new SCADA deal that all of us can work from the house if we need to. Like if we get a phone call or something saying we got low pressure, we can go on our phones or our computer or laptop and see what's going on from the house. Save us a little time, but we can manually start the pumps up if we had to in the house or something. But we're still working kind of all the bugs out of it right now. I mean, it is working right now, but we are still kind of training on it still. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Y'all got any questions for me?
Doing a great job. I know you're covered up. You're doing a great job.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sir. This next report on planning and zoning, Planning and Zoning Commission did not have a meeting prior to this today, so there is no report on planning and zoning. The next report would be on the Sharp County Regional Airport Commission. Regarding the Airport Commission, they have corrected their issue with Jet 8 pump. It has been repaired and calibrated and is back in service. And they had a beacon that had to be adjusted and that beacon has been adjusted and is now visible at light. And they also had a fuel hose that needed to be replaced, and the new hose has finally been installed and is in working condition. So that's the progress at the airport. The next report would be on the Tri-County Solid Waste Disposal Authority. This is our recycling services. They are still working on locating an affordable option for their box truck replacement, and they have purchased 2 containers for storage, and those will be going into operation very soon. And their next meeting will be August the 20th at 9:30 a.m. out at the landfill location in their front office room if anybody would like to attend that. The next report will come from the Hardy Advertising and Promotion Commission. Is there an individual giving that report?
Jason's going to give that
Okay.
report tonight.
Hello, Commissioner Jackson.
Hey, we've had pretty eventful meetings here lately. You'll see a lot of stuff happening. Pretty much, the meeting's been just basic on everything. I know we've got one motion. The main thing that we've got to talk about, and this maybe y'all want to bring it up, is the pocket park. Do y'all want to bring that up now, or do you want to talk about it?
I think we've got it on the agenda.
On the agenda, okay. All right, the main thing is we're moving our office upstairs. We voted to get all the equipment, to get everything upstairs. We wrote 11 grants so far at $193,000. So got a lot of grants out there. Hopefully we're gonna have some money rolling in. We got some digital things gonna be happening here to change all this up, make it a little bit better on that side. And then the outside, the main thing that we're looking at is the kitchen and the bathrooms out here. So hopefully you'll see that coming up at the next meeting. You will see some changes probably later on this week or early next week on the outside of the building going on. Miss Jenny did get the building pressure washed and steam cleaned this week. So you'll see some more stuff happening when you drive by that should make everybody happy as far as that goes. And I think that's all I've got right now on this as far as our meeting for this. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, sir. The next report comes from the mayor's office. I just had a few things I wanted to share with everybody. Regarding the mayor's report, Casey's General Store has been open for business in Hardy. Yeah. This is a great advancement for our community. I have been in discussion with management at Casey's, and as long as the employees are available for service, Casey's will go to 24/7 on September the 1st, 2025.
Wow.
So please go support them. We're excited to see a 24-hour store in Hardy, as this will give a location for police, fire, railway, and emergency medical services to have a place to grab a coffee and a snack on their night shifts. And right now, there's not anything in the county that's 24/7. So we're excited to see that offering. Thank you to all who have accomplished this investment in Hardy to be sure that we have had this opportunity and that it was successful. You'll notice that RDOT came through and redid all their painting, widened the turn-ins, and I think Casey's even ran out of gas last week. They were sold out. So it's been a good move for Hardy, and we ask that you please, of course, support all the gas stations in town, all the convenience stores, but we sure are glad to have a new investment. The work process with FEMA continues as we're working with our program delivery manager to accomplish the reimbursement process. A few projects have been submitted, and we are waiting on the reimbursement payments to be issued to the city. I don't know an exact time, but they said that the process is actually moving very fast. So we will be expecting some payments. And as soon as I get some in, we get them all finalized and looked through, we'll give you all an update and let you know that that's going on. But they said it was moving fast, and that's really good news. This is a good one. The Hardy Fire Department received approval for a $15,000 grant from the Rural Community Grant Program that is headed by AEDC, known as the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. So a $15,000 grant to the city. We are waiting for further direction on the grant process, but we're happy to announce that we've been selected to be a recipient of the program. So great job to our fire chief for applying for this grant, working with myself to get it across the finish line. Chief Moore, thank you very much for doing that and putting it together. The city submitted an application with the help of White River Planning and Development District out of Batesville for the Community Assistance Grant Program regarding Loberg Park restoration. We do not know the expected announcement date at this time, but as we find out, I will let council know if we make their list. There were several projects submitted around the state. They only have about $15 million to award. Last I had heard that there was over $200 million requested. So not near enough to go around and fund that. But we will wait and see if Hardy is on the list for an award. I believe that the A&P Commission also submitted an application for that same grant program. So we just hope the best for the city of Hardy as a whole. And we hope that we get some of the rewards. For the Fun Park grant application, we submitted that project, or we're working on submitting that project, but we do need to have the Fun Park project cleanup day at the playground area of Loberg Park as an application requirement. And I would like to propose that we do that on August the 20th at 9 a.m. So August the 20th at 9 a.m., we'd like to have our cleanup of the playground area.
Is that a Saturday?
I think that's a Wednesday.
Okay.
That's a Wednesday.
Well, I can look it up, yeah.
August 20th at 9 a.m. We won't be doing any major, like moving the playground equipment around, but we'll be picking up some of the limbs that may be left, picking up some of the trash, maybe trying to get some of the metal that's hanging down out of the area, kind of working into the bathrooms and see if we can get some of that cleaned up. That will be the day that I'd like to do the project cleanup, so August the 20th at 9 a.m.
Would we be able to get some trailers and stuff to be able, I know there's a lot of small debris piles that have, I think there was some weed killer there was, I guess, stuff growing all through some fencing and that kind of stuff. Would we be able to get some trailers to put that on and get some of those piles out of there?
As long as our superintendent's available, I think we might have a dump truck down there. We can put some of the debris in. We do have some trailers that we can put stuff on. But that is also the time that the Sharp County inmates will be doing some work around town. So we may load a trailer, or get it near the trailer and get some assistance from them as well.
Okay.
Trying to coordinate with some extra help.
Okay, that would be great, because I know I was approached by a constituent concerning safety on the walking trail by the river. And there have been 2 people that she knew of that had actually fallen there, Mr. Berry being one of them. And there's another person that fell.
You aren't out there, how'd you know that? Somebody gossip?
No gossip, it was the constituent that has concerns about
Well,
people's,
that's because I was out there at
people's
4:30 or
safety.
5. Never mind.
We just ask everybody to be safe out there. It's not the best condition, so use your best judgment when walking into potholes. So that volunteer day is open to anyone who would like to volunteer to help to pick up litter and some of the leftover debris from the flooding area around the playground. I hope that everyone will be able to attend and be a part of the cleanup process. And that is all that I have right now for the mayor's report.
Will you announce that on the radio or?
Yes, I'm going to be putting out, as long as everybody's good with that day, an announcement on social media, and we'll put it out to the radio. Elaine, do you think you can get that in the paper this week for next week? I know it's a close.
August 20th,
Yeah, it'd probably be your publication day, wouldn't it?
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the paper comes out on the newsstands Tuesday, and
Oh.
it's online a little earlier.
Well, we'll share it on our city Facebook page if you want to share it.
But we still have a burn pile to haul everything to, out at the sewer plant.
Yeah, so the trash will actually put in the roll-off dumpster, and then the vegetation will take it to the place that's.
I can bring my big dump trailer if we've got a place that we can, like we want to put the trees and stuff in there. I'll donate my trailer and truck and everything. We can, if we've got a place to take it to that day, we can haul and probably clean the whole park up by the end of the day.
Well, so for the grant, we're just going to focus on the playground right there. That's what I'd like to put the focus on right now. We're waiting on site inspections from FEMA still. They have not got their people organized enough to do that. So really just want to focus on the litter and the trash inside that playground area. But I'm pretty certain we have the city dump truck that will be there that day. It's a massive dump truck. I don't know that we would need 2 dump trailers, but I do appreciate the offer.
Okay.
Yeah. That is all that I've got for the mayor's report at this time. We will move into old business if everybody is ready.
Yep.
they don't care to silence some cell phones, I sure would appreciate that. So if you'll go in your packet to, oh, I'd say it's about halfway through if you flip, it'll be right after the fire department report. We have an ordinance that is in here, ordinance number 2025-06. We have met a few times and gone over this ordinance. We did make some updates to this off of our last meeting. If you go over to section T, section 1, letter T, we talked about our occupancy stay, we talked about the period, and then we talked about putting in a worker's exception. That exception has been added in there. Everything we have discussed and talked about the last 2 and 3 meetings has been added into this, and the adjustment was made on the time frame. We had an error in there on the hours of operation, but those hours of operation have been corrected to reflect the 11 p.m. until 4:30 a.m. So this is the ordinance that we had put together. We are looking at this, discussing it. We have discussed it. This ordinance provides for the opportunity of having the hours of operation. So if somebody was in the park at nighttime when it's not really an appropriate, safe environment or time to be out there, this does allow our police officers to enforce the proposed city ordinance as to where they could ask the individual to leave the park at that time because of it being closed. We do have some visitors at times that occupy various city parks, and they may be passing through town or up to whatever they do at 2 a.m. But it would be nice to have the ordinance here put into place so we can protect everyone in the parks throughout the hours of the night. And the accommodation is in there for the 4:30 a.m. period to allow people that do go out for early morning walks to be able to still do that. That way we're not, looking at sun up to sundown and as that changes throughout the year. But we have made the adjustments that we've talked about in here. This is a good ordinance. Former city attorney, Mr. Joe Grider, worked on it with myself, and we put this together, and I think it's a good ordinance. So I'll be quiet now and let council talk about it. Is there any more discussion on this proposed ordinance? I know we've talked about it probably 3 and 4 months now.
Under section 7,
Section 7.
where it talks about the penalty of violation,
Yes, ma'am.
how will it have to be a police officer that,
The judge sets all fines.
okay, so but does it have to be a police officer that sees somebody that's that's
Mr.
committed a
Henshaw,
violation?
could you explain how this would work? What is your question to the police?
Okay, well, one of the things that it's stated earlier, and I know somewhere in there that's no alcohol, tobacco, drugs, or vaping is permitted. So how is that going to be enforced?
Yeah.
And if people are smoking or vaping or whatever in the park, then they'll get a citation, or
If that's the way agreed to, they could get a citation.
I think the vaping says inside facilities if you look a little bit closer. Just for clarification.
So,
there's not any inside facilities that would be either, bathrooms. Okay, so no smoking in the boys' room.
so if anybody's vaping
Just to go.
No
music,
vaping.
is that okay?
Okay.
Is it okay if they vape at the music on Main?
That's outside, so
Yeah, it's inside facilities already.
I know
We
we've
do
had
ask
people go
people-
and smoke cigarettes in Dr. Thompson Park bathrooms. I've smelled them when I go in, and that would give a little bit of leeway for this as well.
We always ask people if they're going to smoke to go across the street
Which is nice.
to smoke. So,
But they don't always, do they?
huh?
But they don't always.
I mean, they usually will respect it if I go up and ask them to. So.
But for clarification purposes, if somebody is violating a part of this ordinance and it is seen in the officer's presence, and that officer writes that citation, it is then assigned a court date, and then the judge would assess the penalty of no less than $100 and no more than $1,000, depending on the type of violation notice.
Okay, and then the revenue that comes from the judgment of that, where do those funds go?
That is collected in the district court, and because it's a city ordinance, does 100% of that come back to us?
Should come back to us.
Okay, thank you.
It's a good ordinance. It was reviewed by Mr. Greider, and he and I worked on it, and we brought it forth. I think this is the 4th time now that we brought this to council for discussion.
We need to vote on it.
It is under old business. It would be nice to vote on this and get it put into
I
place.
like when we vote on it then.
Okay, is that where we are?
I think so.
Ready? Okay, somebody make a motion to approve ordinance number 2025-06 to read by title only and to waive the second and third reading, please.
So moved.
Is that your motion, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I've got a motion on the floor. I've got a second on the floor to read ordinance number 2025-06 by title only and to waive the first, second, and third reading. Is that correct?
Yes.
So will you state that? To waive the first, second, and third reading?
The ordinance to be read with the waive of first, second, and third readings.
By title only.
By title only.
And Ms. Natalie, that's your second? Okay, thank you. Was there something else, sir?
Are you still talking about city ordinance?
Yes, I've got a motion on the table. Go ahead.
Can you add that the court cost needs to be added to that fee too, in case there's any addition to that?
That again usually goes through the
I'm not sure the legal verbiage right now to do that.
I'm not.
We, in Cherokee, we did that, we just added to it court costs, so that the court gets its money, and it doesn't come out of your
Yeah,
fund.
because if it goes to court, we take a, they go in and they can go up there as a county.
They get like a 60.
Jimmy, I think instead of when they're doing that, they make it after you.
Okay. So real quick, you're saying add including court cost? Is that fair? Okay. So everybody take your pen out on section 6 and put including court cost.
Section 7.
Section 7. Thank you. Put including court cost. Okay? When we say cost, there's an S on the end of it, okay? Including court cost, and we'll go back and type that. With that verbiage added to section 7, does your motion still stand, Ms.
Yes,
Natalie?
it does.
Ms. Natalie, does your second still stand?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Be a voice vote, all in favor of approving ordinance number 2025-06, reading it by title only, waiving the first, second, and third readings, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. I will now read it by title only. Ordinance number 2025-06, an ordinance establishing rules and regulations for the city parks and recreation parks, providing a penalty for violations thereof, and declaring an emergency. Can I now get a motion to approve that ordinance?
I'll make a
Because
motion.
we have read the ordinance.
I'll make a motion to.
I've got a motion from Ms. Sue Taylor to approve ordinance number 2025-06.
Second.
I heard the second from Ms. Laura Smith. Be a voice vote, all in favor of approving ordinance number 2025-06, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have approved ordinance number 2025-06 with the modification to section 7. If I could so please get a motion to enact the emergency clause, which is clearly labeled in section 10.
I make a motion that we enact the emergency clause at this point.
Okay, I've got a motion to enact the emergency clause. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, I've got a second from Ms. Natalie to enact the emergency clause. Be a voice vote, all in favor of enacting the emergency clause, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The emergency clause has been enacted. I'll read it. It is hereby determined by the City Council of the City of Hardy that the immediate need for rules and regulations exist at Hardy Recreation Parks and the City Parks of Hardy, Arkansas, and therefore an emergency exists, and this ordinance being necessary to preserve the health, safety, and peace of the citizens of the City of Hardy shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage. Ordinance number 2025 has been approved. It has been read by title only, and the emergency clause has been enacted. Thank you all very much.
Will there be signs going up?
At some point in time, when we get signage and everything put back up, yeah, we'll get some signs. That way everybody's clear and made aware. And of course, remember the police department and the officers, it's their discretion. They will always try to diffuse a situation and warn, advise people, prior to having multiple offenses of some nature. So, but again, officer's discretion. We will go back to new business, or start with new business. If you'll flip over to Resolution 2025-12. So, Resolution 2025-12 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a mutual aid agreement between the City of Hardy and Sharp County, Arkansas, and for other purposes. And you'll see that there is a contract following that. When we had the flood event come through at Hardy, the county was able to come in and help us with some repairs of things that were a little bit out of our wheelhouse. They also had machinery and laborers and equipment that helped clear debris out of the parks and along our right-of-ways. So as we are working on the reimbursement process with FEMA, it was brought to my attention that a mutual aid agreement needs to be in place between the city and the county in order to be on the up and up for FEMA. So this agreement and this contract allows for us to submit that reimbursement process for the county and allows for us to legally put in the request for FEMA assistance regarding the services that they provide. So this mutual aid agreement has been discussed by myself and County Judge Mark Counts, and we felt like this was a good agreement that was good for the city and for the county both. So I would really like to get this put together so we can give it to FEMA, put in the reimbursement process for what we need to put in for the county for their assistance they provided us. And by having a mutual aid agreement contract signed and done with a resolution, we'll ink that, stamp it, seal it, and then I'll get a copy of it sent in to FEMA so we can get that process started. County Judge, I believe, was more than willing to do this, and it also will help us in the event that there is another devastation that hits this area, as to where it's almost automatic, to where they can come in and help us in the event of any other type of emergency. The county has more machinery and equipment than what the city has, obviously, so it is nice for them to be able to bring in their equipment and help us in times of need like this. I very much appreciate the county judge at the drop of the hat the day after the flood coming in and getting Spring Street Bridge roadway put back so we could all utilize that, and for getting all the materials out of the right-of-way that they picked up and did, and working on getting roads put back. And I mean, they really helped us. I mean, our guys did a phenomenal job themselves, but they still have their daily responsibilities they had to do. So it was just really nice to have some assistance from the county come in and everybody work together. I think that's what we all should really try to focus on, is all of us working together. And it's nice to have the relationship with Hardy and the county to where we have that respect for one another, to where we can help each other with resources when it's available. So that is what we've got here, is this resolution and contract, and I would like to ask for the council to move to pass resolution 2025-12.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. I've got a motion from Ms. Sue Taylor to read resolution 2025-12.
Second.
Okay, I've got a second from Ms. Sue Taylor, from Ms. Laura Smith to read resolution 2025-12. Via voice vote, all in favor of reading resolution 2025-12, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll read it this time. Resolution 2025-12, a resolution authorizing the execution of a mutual aid agreement between the City of Hardy and Sharp County, Arkansas, and for other purposes. Whereas the City of Hardy City desires to enter into a mutual aid agreement, a copy of which is attached, with Sharp County, Arkansas, to provide for mutual assistance and cooperation between the parties in times of emergency, disaster, or other significant events where the resources of one party may be made available to assist the other. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hardy, Arkansas, that Section 1, that pursuant to ACA subsection 1454302, the mayor and/or the city recorder treasurer are hereby authorized to execute the mutual aid agreement MAA, in which Sharp County, Arkansas agrees to provide for mutual assistance and cooperation between the City of Hardy, Arkansas and Sharp County, Arkansas in times of emergency, disaster, or other significant events where the resources of one party may be made available to assist the other. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council hereby grants full authority pursuant to ACA subsection 1454302 to the mayor on behalf of the city to execute this transaction and to take such actions as are necessary to implement and administer the mutual aid agreement. Be it further resolved that the City Council does hereby acknowledge and does hereby ratify and approve each and every action undertaken by city officials in the pursuit of the aforementioned mutual aid agreement, passed and approved on this 11th day of August 2025.
I make a motion that we accept resolution number 2025-12.
Thank you, Ms. Kaufman. I've got a motion here to approve resolution 2025-12.
Second.
We got a second from Ms. Laura Smith to approve resolution number 2025-12. Via voice vote, all in favor of approving resolution 2025-12, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 2025-12 passes. Thank you all very much. I will notify the county judge and we'll get that moving. Okay, the next resolution that we have in our packet is resolution 2025-13. We had our budget work session last month, I believe it was. So in this document, there are 3 separate budgets in here. One pertains to the general fund, the other pertains to Hardy Waterworks, and then the other pertains to the street fund. We have taken what the 2025 current budget reads and put the proposed budget revisions next to it in that right column. We have taken what we discussed at that budget work session last month. There was a few minor things that were brought to my attention after the meeting as it related to kind of a thought process on how to try to cut the budget further. And we looked at our police department, and the interim police chief and I got together and we concluded, and I think the council would support this, that we had 4 full-time police officers prior, and at this time we'd like to proceed with 3 full-time officers for the rest of the year. We did have 1 shift on a Sunday we needed to cover when we made those adjustments, so we've got a part-time person in there for 1 shift, but we don't have a full 40-hour-a-week 4th full-time officer with retirement benefits and those type of costs that the city will incur. So on an annual basis, and we're talking about 365 days a year, that'll save in the ballpark somewhere around $70,000-ish on a 4th full-time officer. So when you look at a budget for next year, hopefully that salary line will reflect a full reduction in a 4th full-time employee. Now, by having the part-time officer pick up that shift, that was already accounted for in our budgetary purposes for payroll. So that was nice, not adding an expense for that, but we were able to eliminate, I think, for the remaining portion of this year, somewhere between $30,000 and $35,000 by not having a 4th full-time officer. So that was a adjustment, and there was a few other adjustments. I mean, it's everything that we looked at when we had our budget work session is what we discussed. The other adjustments that'll be in here is that we added some lines where if you look about general revenues, it says carryover CD reserve funds. So that's the CD that matured. We have put it into the budget as a revenue, okay, putting it in. But you can also see that there's a line called FEMA reimbursement, and that FEMA reimbursement is going to be what is 75% of those funds that we expect to get back. So if we put $40,000 into a project, we expect to get 3/4 of that back, which reflects the FEMA disbursement for the revenue of $30,000. So So you'll see that we spread funds over the general fund so that the expenses that we have that pertain to general funds are taken care of. We did the same thing in HWW. So you can see that the pump maintenance account has CD reserve funds that are being put into it. And if you look back down, you'll see that disaster recovery repairs, that those funds have been put in there as well. Again, it's going to be 3/4 of it. So you'll expend 100% and get 3/4 back. So not everything is going to be exactly perfect because it's a budget and it's a fluid working document. But we took the best stab at this that we could to reflect the expense of the project and then the reimbursement for the revenue side of the projects as they become awarded to us. And if you look in the street fund, we did the same thing on the street fund for reserve funds. And then you look at the expenses for the disaster recovery street repairs. So this gives us that flexibility to take those monies, pay the bills, and shows the income coming back in. But again, in order to get the money back to us on a reimbursement process, it must be expended to get those funds. So we did the best job we could to try to have an adequate budget for proposal this evening. And we took what we talked about at the work session, plus some more additions as it pertains to having 3 full-time police officers versus having the 4 that were currently in the budget. So again, it's a living, breathing document. I think we did a very good job at grabbing a hold of it and doing the best that we could. It gives us the ability to pay some of these costs from the disaster, and it cut expenses in payroll at the police department, which was an item that we, had been presented that was a little high. So we're trying to accommodate and be good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. I think that we will see an uptick in sales tax revenue from Casey's, but I can't say that it's going to be a massive amount of revenues for sales tax collections, but it will be more than what we had before. So it's not a perfect world we live in, and we're thankful for what we do have, and I think it's a good copy of the budget that we're proposing. So this resolution would accept this budget, and then with it being August, we are 2 months away from working on a budget for 2025. So I think we just take this momentum and continue moving forward, or 2026, as we continue to work for the upcoming year. You had something?
Yeah, reading through, was it City and Town magazine and everything, I understand that coming in early 2026, there is $75 million set aside by the state for infrastructure for small cities, first and second class. Second class being 1,200 people or less.
2,500 or less. 2,499.
Okay, well, we fit in that load. That we should start working on some kind of plan with that to get the grants and stuff like that too. Because 20% of that 75 million goes to those with the second class citizens.
That's an excellent point, and I'm working with CEA, which is Civil Engineer Associates, who's helped us for the last several years, working on trying to get something put together for that other deadline.
Okay, great.
And that would, of course, strictly be water, wastewater projects, not general revenues for anything else.
Well,
Strictly
thing anyway.
renovations for infrastructure, water, wastewater.
That's just to let everyone know here too, that's a big thing for us, that we can get this kind of grant money. That's a big save for us, and it's just not just us, we have several little townships that are in the same need. So I thought that was really important.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm honestly not comfortable moving forward with this resolution because I still think we need more cuts. I don't think this is deep enough. And I think we need to have another workshop where we can, really get together and take and all of us as a council take a very serious look at item by item, we're in trouble. And I'm concerned about, I'm concerned about our city. I'm concerned about the fiscal solvency of our city. And I think, I know, just take our own family. When our babies were little and we had, something come up and there was some financial squeeze that we needed to do. It was, sorry kids, we're not buying new clothes right now. We're not going out to eat. We're doing what we have to do to be able to get our financial house in order so that we can, after it's back in order, so that we can, do other things later on. But I really honestly think that we need another workshop.
Do you have anything right now that you'd like to address as to where you would like to see some cuts? Because we've tried to trim as much as possible.
I think we can take, the fire department can take some cuts. I think, let's see, hold on, I've got.
Where do you think the fire department could afford some cuts?
I know this is a little thing, but I remember you talking about the last workshop, you were talking about, well, firemen want new hoodies this year, don't they? And well, sometimes, when you're in a financial mess, you don't get new hoodies. You might have to wear a sweatshirt that, is an older one. It may be, it's just things like that we just, I just think we need to take a serious, just some.
Well, that's their uniforms,
Some
and I just
further-
understand
I
for
don't-
firefighters standing on the side of the road with cold, but if you don't want them to have hoodies.
No, I appreciate my sister very much, but I disagree with her. We're only a few months away from the new budget. We're not going to die by living by the budget because we made the other day, recommended tonight. That's my opinion. I think we could keep this budget as it is until we create a new budget for 2026. Some of the people here weren't even on the committee when they did this 25 budget. You've done a good job coming in, recommending cuts. We've made those cuts. But to do a new budget.
We haven't made those cuts, we added a lot.
Well, my point is, I don't think that present budget that we have for 2025 is going to dissipate our city. I think we should wait until, that's just my opinion, so I love you and I appreciate it. I just disagree with you.
Pretty much. We're already in September, y'all. If you think about it, like, we're 2 weeks from September. So, late September, early October, I figure you and I'll sit down and kind of take our real expenditures and start working on something and then bring it to you all to look at, and then we can work with that moving forward. The budgetary process is difficult because you have to take into account each and every expenditure and then talk about what you'd like to see in the new year. So we have this wonderful strategic planning process that was put in place. So when we get together and work on the strategic planning process, that's the opportunity where we can outline what we would like to see longevity for the city, or what we might need to update and revise, and then take that strategic plan and put it with the budget and come up with a good budget to present. Now, by December, the council has to hear the budget, and we do need to have funds going into January in order to expedite, or in order to approve, bills that come in January 1 until we meet in January. And that's very typical, is approving that budget so you have funds come January. But we'll start that process October-ish, really. Because it's hard to have a good account.
The strategic plan has to be in by October.
Yes, the strategic plan has to be in by October. I was talking about the budget specifically. So
If we're that close to a new budget, I agree.
I think
with
we
Mary.
need-
I think we need to really, if you're gonna nitpick, we would nitpick the new budget and really come with what you're saying, reduce the fire department, and we need more planning than that, because I don't.
I think we need to meet with each of the department heads. The council needs to meet with each department head to say, okay, what are your, this is what we can give your department to work with.
That's when you plan for the 2026 budget. That's what I'm talking about. I have no problem with that. I'm saying leave the 2025 budget alone as we updated.
So usually the mayor meets with the department heads and hears the needs from the departments, and then the mayor presents a document and then brings it to the Congress, to the council, for discussion and review. So if you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate being able to do my ability to meet with the department heads so that they feel comfortable in speaking with their supervisor on what the real needs are versus things that they think they could maybe not meet for this upcoming year. But the reality is that we are a city with infrastructure and public services, and no matter what, we have to provide the essential services to the city. And if the taxpayers realize that we're doing good things and that they see that there is a shortage of revenue, then that's where you bring those things to the public and let the public vote to address whether they would like to potentially see an increase in any type of sales tax collections or not. And that's completely up to the public. But we are 3 months away from this being wrapped up, and it's in the budget, but the department heads speak with me and the treasurer, and they talk to me about any major expenditures prior to spending these things. So just because it's in the budget, we may not spend it. Like, it's there should they need it, but that does not mean we're going to expend every single dollar of that line item.
Correct.
It's just there for them if they need it due to an emergency. Say a major water line goes down and Mr. Morris needed funds, well, at least he's got the money there to fix it versus not having the money approved to fix it. And then when we do the budget cleanup resolution that gets done annually, that's where we kind of take the final expenditures through 12/31, be sure everything is receipted in, be sure all the bills have been paid for that year, and then we come together. It's been February and March, we've been doing it and approving that final budget. So just because it's in there does not mean we're going to expend every penny. It's there in emergency purposes. We are very good stewards, as myself, the treasurer, and the department heads, not to expend a huge dollar amount, really anything over about $1,500. We kind of talk about and always communicate to be sure that it's exactly needed, or if there's another creative way for us to go about fixing a solution.
So we don't vote.
I mean, I think that this is a good budget. It gives us the ability to pay these FEMA bills, allows for the city to continue its operations, and to not be able to pay a bill. When a bill comes in, we need to pay a bill for something that we have.
Do you think the city don't have the money?
That's a double-edged sword. The city has the funds. They're there. It is evident that they're in the bank. However, when you have a line in here that is carryover, you're simply carrying money over from one year into another of cash on hand. So the city has grown. I don't know if y'all can think back to the year 2000. I know a lot of you can. This city is not the same city it was in the year 2000. It's not the same city that it was in 2010. It's not the same city that it was in 2020. I mean, we have been operating off of a very base rate for a long period of time. And if you look back in the minutes and you talk to some former recorder treasurers, I don't think it's a secret that the city has always struggled financially. Money has always been tight. We're in a poor community. We're in one of the lowest income places in the entire state of Arkansas. People don't go out and eat every meal. People don't drive, very expensive cars here. People don't live in very big houses. People do live paycheck to paycheck here. And that lifestyle reflects how the city operates because it's based upon what happens with economic development in the city. So
That's what concerns me is that if we put a sales tax increase before the voters, I don't think it's going to pass. I mean,
well, and that's your opinion, and everybody
it's
gets a vote.
it's totally an opinion. I mean, but the number of people, the percentage of people that live on fixed incomes in this area, most of them can't afford a sales tax increase.
So I think what's important to highlight is that Hardy's sales tax does not equate to what a city of 743 people look like. This sales tax is what we receive on paper extremely high for our population. And that is simply due to the fact of our location. Our location is everything. You get a main highway, 63, you get a junction of 62, 412, and you get people up and down this road all day long that this just happens to be their stopping point between Jonesboro and getting up to Missouri. And this is a very lucky place for us to be. So yes, the sales tax will 100% affect the 743 full-time residents, and it will also affect the couple thousand that come in on a weekend and loosely spend their money here because this is a recreational tourist community. I mean, our entire economy in the state of Arkansas is driven off tourism. 100% driven off tourism. The state is doing manufacturing things now, and they're working to promote the port and the industry. There was an announcement made today on steel in the state. I mean, those things are great as it affects the state taxes. But on a local tax base, again, I don't think that it's a secret that the city has always struggled and been very frugal on how the money has been spent. I think it's just now becoming a real talked about thing, which is great. This is a really good conversation for everybody to have when you talk about where we sit. Yes, we have cash in the bank. Yes, we have money coming in. Yes, we're spending money. We have to keep that wheel moving, but it's good to consider what we could have. So here we go, going from 4 full-time police officers to 3. Well, it'd be nice to get back to that 4th and have 24/7 police protection by hardy officers all week long. It'd be nice to fix some of the infrastructure that Mr. Morris has issues with every single day. Water, wastewater, the sewer plant that is in disrepair, our lift stations, our water lines, people that want to come here and purchase the lots that they find on the internet, but then they realize that there's not water to that lot that they're wanting to buy. Well, if we could put water in the ground and get drinking water to people, a basic essential service of water, then more people would come here. I mean, we have got so much infrastructure that needs to be addressed in this city.
Yeah.
It is unfathomable. I mean,
So that's
every
where-
single water line should be looked at and fixed. Every sewer line should be looked at.
That's my concern, is the
Every-
infrastructure that's,
Yes,
that is-
and there is no way, Ms. Kaufman, at all, that by saving $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 that we can fix that infrastructure.
Well,
It's going to take a massive investment in this community.
it will, but I think it's also going to take, it's a little bit here and a little bit there. It does add up. And, you know,
It's going to,
That's-
I'm just going to throw out a figure, and I don't know what it is, but if you took every mile of city street and you wanted to take every mile of city street and fix it, y'all, you're looking at millions of dollars. Millions.
But we're not doing that. What I'm saying is, according to this budget,
Mm-hmm.
do you think the city don't have enough money to carry through with this, what we've got in
No, I
it?
don't. I do not think that. I think that we have the cash in the bank to finish out this year. When we start looking at 2026, let's look at it all together. I will bring you everything that you need to look at, and we can sit through it with a red pen, and we can mark it till the sheet of paper is ready. But in order to continue taking care of this city for the rest of the year, I would like to see this taken care of. And if we don't do something on these FEMA reimbursements, we're going to chance the loss of not being able to fix anything with federal money. And that is not a chance that I'm willing to put my name on. We've got to address some of these city issues as it pertains to fixing the devastation.
But you're saying we have enough money in the bank to cover what we've got.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So it's not like we're gonna go probably before the year's over.
That is not factual.
Let's deal with this resolution.
Excuse me?
Let's deal with this resolution.
Okay, well, the way it's presented, if I could entertain or have a motion made to approve and read, or excuse me, to read Resolution 2025-13.
I will, yeah.
Okay, I've got a motion
I'll
to
second.
read 2025-13 and a second from Ms. Sue Taylor. Be a voice vote, all in favor of reading Resolution 2025-13, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
me.
Okay, the ayes have it. Okay. Resolution 2025-13, a resolution providing revisions to the operating budgets for the fiscal year 2025, beginning January 1, 2025, and ending December 31, 2025 for the city of Harding, Arkansas. Whereas the city council approved an operating budget for the general fund, street fund, and the Hardy Waterworks Fund for the year 2025 on December 9th, 2024. And whereas the city council held a budget work session on July 16th, 2025, and has made a comprehensive study and review of the current 2025 budgets. And whereas the city council finds the attached budget exhibit reflects those anticipated revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year 2025 as accurately as possible for budgetary purposes, and should be adopted as the revised budgets governing city operations from January 1, 2025 through December 31, 2025. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hardy, Arkansas, that Section 1, this resolution shall be known as the revised budget resolution for the City of Hardy, Arkansas for the fiscal year 2025, and shall provide budgets for the general fund, street fund, and Hardy Waterworks Fund. All revenues set out in herein are estimated and are subject to change. All appropriations are calculated on available revenues. Section 2, the respective amounts of each and every expenditure and receipt herein proposed as the budgets of 2025 are approved by the City of Hardy, Arkansas, and are hereby authorized and appropriated for the purposes herein set forth for the fiscal year 2025. Section 3, the City Council hereby adopts the attached budget revisions as the budgets governing city operations for January 1, 2025 through December 31, 2025. Passed and approved this 11th day of August, 2025. The resolution has been read.
I make a motion that we accept resolution number 2025-13.
Okay, I've got a motion on the floor from Ms. Smith to approve and accept resolution number 2025-13.
Second.
Get a second from Dr. Tony Berry to approve resolution number 2025-13. Via voice vote, all in favor of approving resolution 2025-13, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Me.
Okay, the ayes have it. Resolution 2025-13 is passed. Thank you all very much. We'll be very cautious as we proceed in the next couple of months, and I look forward to going through the budgetary process with you all for 2026. I think it will be a very good process. Okay, the next resolution is resolution 2025-14, which pertains to financial statements. This is a resolution that Councilmember Quintana Dubois had brought forth to us, and I very simply just took the document and added the number to it that makes sense for the chronological order of what we had going on the agenda for tonight. Do you care if I continue, or do you want to? Okay. So this resolution basically is stating that the council would receive copies of all official monthly bank statements for the city, including general fund, street fund, water and sewer funds, grants or reserve accounts, certificate of deposits, and then any investment or special purpose accounts holding city funds. And then section 2, that the council shall also be provided with monthly credit card statements for any city-held credit or purchasing cards, and then corresponding receipts or itemized logs that support each transaction that has been made with public funds. I looked this over. I believe it's legal. I don't think that there is any issue here that would make it not legal. It's very simply the city council just resolving that they would like copies of the monthly bank statements, and then also be provided with the credit card statements and receipts. So all those things are public records. They're in the offices. Mr. Best, you raise your hand.
As past treasurer of the city, I should warn you that the bank statements are a liability. We will have documentation in there of other accounts being deposited to, and personal accounts, when you cash a check or what have you. We've had this come up in the past when I was treasurer, and the way we worked that is we did expense reports, which is the same report that the treasurer can produce for you prior to the meeting of all the checks he or she's written for that period, and we'll give you the same thing. We'll show you who it's going to and what it was written for. Whether it was cashed or not, you won't know, but you'll know it was out there. And I also offer, and you might want to change for that reason, I would also offer to you that the very most important report for the city for you to govern by is the reconciliation report. That is a report of what was written, what the bank statement came back and said was cashed, and us reconciling to it. It's the same as you sitting down with your checkbook and making sure all the checks are gone through and gone to certain places. That gives your treasurer the time it takes to look for mistakes. Sometimes we hit the wrong account. I've done it. I'm guilty. And so that gives them time to look at that, see what the problem is. But when they get finished, they'll say, here's all the checks for the month of September or July that have been written and how they would come through and how they were accounted for. And then it will turn around and also tell you what's still outlying. And those checks, by the way, can be months old because someone didn't cash a check or what have you. So it looks at what your liability is or whatever. I would suggest and the credit card statements are what they are, keep those. But I would suggest you look at expense reports, which are easy to generate, and reconciliation report, which is 1 month behind. You'll be behind because she's having to do it as real time. She didn't get the bank statements or whatever until just a week ago, probably. But those are the two most important. You got those, you got everything. Plus the next resolution you have, which is the budget to actions. And by the way, great job on that.
Well,
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate
as long as we're calling people out of the audience.
Well, yes, 1 second. As the former RT, thank you, and I yield my time to him. Sir, I will yield my time to you as well. Go ahead.
Well, the city council has a right to every single document that's in there, and they shouldn't have to put a resolution forward to do it. Just go look at state statutes.
I agree.
So there's nothing that you cannot see. So you really don't need the resolution. But what you're saying, I'm getting is that it's going to be provided to the council members every time the council, once a month.
Yes.
So then there's really nothing wrong with the resolution. And I've got politics back to 2024, so.
Appreciate it, sir. So, Mr. Best, thanks. Did not expect that, but no, I appreciate the clarification because you served the city a very long time, and that is good information. And sir, thank you as well. Appreciate your interest.
We don't really need this, do we?
I mean, that's kind of my thought because they're all public records and they're open to inspection at any point in time, and all those records are housed inside the office. And anytime anybody wants to sit down and look at those, they're available. And I can gladly do that. Our city administrator can do that, a deputy clerk, treasurer.
Or we could potentially table it for now and then maybe look at editing it to request this, if the expenditure reports and then the reconciliation.
There's too much emotion right now. I think you're right. We need to table it, give some time to think about it.
I agree with
And the
that.
expertise we just heard back here was excellent. I think tabling it is better. Not destroy it, just table it and talk about it.
Yeah, I'll just reword it.
Just to work on it with me next month.
And
Work on it together.
continue to provide this every month.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we table resolution number 2025-14 until the next month.
If that's the motion you're making?
Yeah.
Your motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, so I've got a motion to table resolution 2025-14 and a second from Councilmember Natalie Quintana Dubois. Via voice vote, all in favor of tabling resolution number 2025-14, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 2025-14 has been tabled, if you'll make a note of that. And we'll flip over to the next one.
I appreciate that information.
Yeah, that was very helpful.
So 2025-15 is similar in nature, although it's different. So section 1 talks about receiving a monthly financial summary report for each active city fund, including but not limited to the general fund, street fund, water fund, sewer fund, and any other special or grant fund. And then section 2 pertains to each report shall include the following information for the current fiscal year to date: beginning fund balances, total revenues received, total expenditures, and then current available balances. Then section 3 just says that these reports shall be provided to all council members in written form no later than the regular distribution of the monthly council packet prior to each scheduled council meeting.
So again, so we can table this one as well to have her redo this for the reconciliation, because that basically puts it all in.
I think so.
It's under one thing.
I think you could maybe put them all in.
Yeah, you sound, that's why we're tabling today, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
Table it.
And if we could sit down and kind of work on it right here, like we could really get the wording of it correct and accurate. I just didn't have the document to make any edits to. I could throw the number,
I'll have your information from
And that's very helpful information. I mean, it just is. So,
I'll
is
make
there-
a motion to table that, and I'll combine it.
I'll second for you.
Okay, so we've got a motion to table resolution number 2025-15, and a second was made by Dr. Tony Berry. Via voice vote, all in favor of tabling resolution 2025-15, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that has been tabled. Okay, the next item on your agenda is Hardy Waterworks as it pertains to the 2022 and the 2023 reports that are done. We have a CPA firm that does the external review of the financial statements for Hardy Waterworks. Life happens, and you ask people to do a service, and then sometimes things just happen. Without compromising anything that I shouldn't compromise pertaining to this individual's health, the person that had this duty was not well, and it was unfortunately pushed off several months. I asked monthly for it to be done, called. We were under an engagement letter contract with them. The 2022 report did not get given to me until about the second or third week of June. It was a state law, and the way I understood it, that the financial summary was supposed to be given from the external CPA firm to legislative audit, and that individual did not give that report to legislative audit. So when we all got the letters that were sent to us regarding that incident, I immediately called, said, how do we fix this? They advised me to get the 2022s. I did. I sent it to them. They have the 2022s. The firm that is working on the 2023s, I've been in constant contact with them, being sure that they have everything that they need. They are working on the 2023s right now. I have asked them to get that to us by the end of August this month. Assuming that that report is done and given to me, then I will pass it on to legislative audit for the year 2023. When the state legislative audit committee gets together in September, we hope and we pray and we think that that will be their intentions to turn the state turn-back on as it pertains to the city. We were one of about 40 municipalities that had that temporary suspended. So as they meet in September and we look at October, we should get reimbursements for September, August, July, and one lump sum payment in October. So those monies will come to us. It's just simply waiting on the individual that needed to return to work to do their duty. And y'all, I gave it the best effort calling them, trying to do everything I could to get this coming. I knew that it would be a problem had they not got it done. When legislative audit got together and made the vote to suspend it, when they did that, the way the statute reads, I was told, is that everything has to be back in full compliance, which triggers the 2023s to be done timely. So as soon as the 2023s is given to me, a copy will be sent to Leg Audit. I'll send a copy to Leg Audit, and that state turnback we expect to see in October. It is a minimal dollar amount. It does not affect our city sales tax. Our city sales tax is the big money. The state turnback is minor funds. I think when I looked at what was withheld, it was about $6,000. So when you look at city sales tax, I think last month was around $34,000. So that money will come to us, but we just won't see it until October, as long as everything goes to plan. But I wanted to provide that for you all, make everybody aware that life happens, and I did the absolute best I could. It's just unfortunate that it was not done in a timely manner. I make no excuses for anybody, and if anybody has any tomatoes they want to throw, put them right here. I'll take them for the individual that was ill. But the owner of that firm hand delivered it to us and got it to us as quickly as they had found out that their was a lack of not getting it delivered to where it needed to go. But that's the update on Hardy Waterworks. As soon as we get the 2023s back to us, I'll get it submitted, and we hope to see those funds, all of them, come back in October.
Good.
Is that fair, council? Is a good update on that? Okay, the next item on the agenda was requested by Councilmember Kaufman, and her topic that we're under new business on is the Pocket Park, which the Pocket Park has been referred to as the property that is between Miller's Leather Shop and Cross-Eyed Catfish. That's the name of the land that was given eons ago, and that land was donated initially by the late Kevin King family. So that's how the city became with ownership of that. So Ms. Kaufman, I'll let you proceed with your item.
Sure, and just a little bit of background for those that don't know. So the Pocket Park was donated by Judge King to the A&P. And there was a quitclaim deed that was done that gave it to the city, but that was never ratified. And so, anyway, it was ratified back in 23, yeah. So, anyway, I know there's been lots of, over the years, I mean, there's been talk about doing something with Pocket Park, and, right now there's, it used to have the hardy fence up there that was the hand-painted fence that was taken down, and then it's been replaced by the banners that are up there now. And anyway, I know with all of the things that are going on with, with the flood, and then the need to just fix the things that we've got in Hardy to fix. I've been visiting with Jason Jackson about that, and I think would you be able to share?
Yeah, so basically what we're wanting to do as the A&P is take back over the project. When I was the mayor, me and Greg was able to get a grant for $10,000, which the city still has in their coffers. But since it's been turned back to the city, now A&P is not going to be able to do anything with it. The only way that we would be able to pick up the project and run with it and get it done is if the city was to turn it back to A&P and give the land back to them. And then the A&P can actually take over the project and get it squared away. We've been in contact with a lumber company about donating the decking, and we're in contact with the electric company about giving us the poles that would go up for the walls and stuff. But what we're asking of the city is to turn around and give the land back to A&P to get the project done. I know with the money that y'all got and with the spending y'all got, I don't see that the project going through with the city. So we would be happy to pick it up. We'd be happy to get it done in a timely manner if y'all would vote to turn it back to us, back to the original. I think that's pretty much it. There wasn't a resolution done, so I don't think there would need to be a resolution. I think y'all would just vote to give it back. The original time, it was just, there was no resolution and nothing put in place other than the fact that the mayor signed it. So I believe if y'all voted this time, we would just type up a quick claim for the mayor to sign and turn it back to A&P again. So I think it.
Before we did anything on that nature, I would just like, to discuss that with the King family, to be sure that that is their intent of what they would like done with that.
Well, they originally gave it to A&P. That was their original intent. So I don't think the King family.
There's a letter for that as well.
Excuse me?
There's a letter for that as well when he donated it.
Right.
I had submitted packages to the council members in 2023.
Yeah, Judge King's original intent was A&P with the letter stating that from him.
Well, the letter stated that if the A&P did not want the land, that it was to go back to the King family. It was never intended to go to the city, but it was, somehow, was it the grant that was, the Entergy grant was, because the A&P couldn't receive grant money?
No, A&P could receive the money. It just, I believe Ernie wanted the land to the city. I'm not sure why it went to the city. I can't express that one. I just know that the letter from Judge King was given to the A&B, the land was given to the A&B, the grant was given to get the project done through the city to the A&B. And then somehow or another along the way, it got shed off to the city. But everything along the line shows A&B should have had it, A&B got the land, A&B got the grant, and A&B was doing the project. So.
We're in a place now where we can begin to move forward on some projects, and so that's one that we can.
The A&B wants to help us. I mean, and this is where we're running into. We've got people downtown that's kind of aggravated on the way the A&B money has to go, but the law stipulates how we can spend our money. This is the only way that A&B can help Main Street and put the money, put that tax revenue that we're getting back in Main Street and help downtown. We can't fix sidewalks. We can't put in new street lights. We can't do anything other than work on this park with the money. So this is where we can fund it, and we can show our goodwill effort with working with the city that we're doing what we can for everyone downtown too. Other than that, I don't know what else we can spend our money on. I mean, we've got projects going on here, but as things happen here, people's going to get aggravated saying that that A&B's putting all their money into one egg here. And I don't want it to be that way. I mean, we're looking at trying to help downtown as much as we're helping here. Like tomorrow, we've got Valspar reps coming in to look at donating paint for everyone downtown. They're going to fly some drones, but I mean, we're trying to help some grants and trying to get the Heritage Foundation and everything on downtown. But as it pertains to the pocket park, we can't do anything as long as the city owns it. By law, we're not allowed to pick it up. Yeah.
I'll do that, thanks, Mason. Mr. Monroe, I yield my time to you.
I believe, wasn't there a resolution or a document signed identifying what is part of the city parks? And was the pocket park one of those properties?
I believe so.
Okay, so we've designated that the pocket park is part of Parks and Recreation.
That is correct.
I believe A&P can fund any projects to do with parks and whatever. So to keep everybody happy, whoever, the city has the title now.
Right.
Okay? I understand that it was given to A&P. Okay? Just let A&P take this over. It's a done deal. They can spend money on pocket park. It doesn't need to change hands, as I see it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, the lawyer said that we wasn't allowed to do the last one, so that's why we're trying to be.
What, the lawyer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
the
Grimes
lawyer.
said we can't do anything on city-owned property.
No, that's not, so you cannot give money.
He means.
I challenge that.
I would too.
challenge that.
Well, and we would too, but that's, I mean, it was.
The money.
The way he made that statement was not to have things approved without the consent of the council.
It was
That's how
stated that it
it's
was illegal for the commission to do
I
any
challenge
works
that.
on the
Yeah,
parks.
well-
I'm sure we can sign a waiver as the city.
It would be nice to have some of that legal
Well,
clarification from somebody.
If you look at the state law, which states how A&P funds can be spent, it's very definitive. Okay, and I haven't looked at that in a while, but what I suggest is, since we don't have a village attorney at the moment, I would suggest that would be a place to start. To start with the state municipal code, with how funds can be spent with A&P. Because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it's the nomenclature reads as such that it can get spent on city parks and things. And being that it's been identified as a city park, I just question your attorney. I would, that's where I would
It
start.
was the city attorney.
It was the
not
city
you.
attorney.
Well, I question it.
Well, the city attorney's no longer here.
So my
What
only,
I would suggest is that would be the place to start. With the municipal code, how A&P funds can be spent. And then once that's identified, you can identify the fact that the pocket park has been slated as part of Parks and Recreation for the city of Harvey. And it might fall right into place.
Well, if the materials are to be donated and there's no expenditures going out,
Whatever,
then I don't know why we can't receive a donation.
My point then would just be a matter of the city per se and A&P cooperating to get it done. Okay? Because there's always been a divide
Yes.
between the city and A&P. And as soon as, we can get that on the same page, you'll move forward. And I think
A&P's fine, I'm speaking as one commissioner. We are fine with that if they will sign a waiver allowing us to take over the project and have full control of everything on it. Then we could write our grants. If that city owns it, I can't write a grant as an A&P commissioner on city land.
Can you put both of us on there?
But
You're established under the city.
What kind of money?
If we're all working, and then that's the way if y'all will sign a waiver allowing us to get on there and do the access to it and all that, then we're fine with it. Only reason that we brought this up was because the city attorney said y'all are absolutely not allowed to touch it.
Okay, he's not here.
Yeah, but I'm
But we
going
have to
off.
follow that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's the thing, he's not here. And if this
So
is something
let's move forward then.
if this is something we want to do, let's all move forward.
Yep.
So we've got a couple hands up, and we're going to be respectful of everybody's time. Mr. Peter Martin, just quickly, please.
Okay, history. Look at your ordinance. You have an ordinance that deals with A&P. You created A&P, and it tells what A&P can be spent on. So not just state, but you have an ordinance that created them. They are not a separate entity as much as they want to be, and there's been a push to separate A&P from the city. But the city still controls it. So, since it is a park, and you declared it a park, they can do whatever needs to be done on that property by keeping it in the city. So I would go along with that. Leave it up to the city and let them do whatever they need to do, because it is a park. And if you look in your ordinance, which you probably haven't seen for a long time, read through it and it tells you what monies they can actually spend things on, because that's what brought them into being. Not the state. The state makes a wide thing, but you made it more specific about what A&P can do. And if you need to find the old ordinance and can't find it, I'm sure I got a copy.
We visit it regularly.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Excellent points. Hey, real quick, y'all, I'm agreeable to doing some of this stuff. If we want to get some wood donated and get some utility poles donated, donate them. And if somebody wants to fix it, let's fix it. They don't have to be the division. Mr. Tree, you had your hand first, sir.
All right, two things. I have read the ordinance recently, and I encourage everyone to do that. If the city, the commission may spend its funds on parks that it deems to be a critical resource for tourism. So in this case, we would need to designate this as something that we have seen as a critical resource for tourism. We can pass a resolution that's very simple. On what Mr. Greider said or did not say, people I think are losing a distinction. The A&P cannot be the primary actor working on city property. We can fund city property, but the A&P can stipulate how that money is spent. So it is not that city money, it's not that A&P money can't be spent, it's that the city and the A&P must agree on how the money is being spent.
That's very clear. Is everybody on the council hearing this?
Yeah.
Okay. Former RT Best, your time,
You have to do the former. A&P is a commission of the city. The state considers the city's assets. They don't look at who owns those assets. It could be formerly one park, it could be the parks department, whatever. If you look at our financial report that's published every year, you look at our auditor report, you will find that it says assets of the city. This property is listed as an asset of the city, although we know 80% of it is owned by A&P. That's just how it is. So you being able to cooperate is the key here.
Yes.
It's absolutely the key. I would contend, we got to do this really bad a couple of times when we had a renovation of the kitchen in the gym. It was a major debacle where the A&P came in and graciously gave the funds, but they also supervised the work aside from the city. I would contend to you that the A&P is a budgeting and a grant writing and a facility to give you money. But they should have to be able to agree, and y'all should be able to agree on what is it they're doing, who's contracting to do that, and is it done to the stipulation of the city, because somebody's got to maintain it. A&P doesn't maintain
That was my question, is
maintenance of a body part is going to wind up, you're going to have weed control, painting, electrical, whatever is gonna go down, they want you to be able to take care of that after it's done. They may fund some of that, thank God they would, but the point is the city needs to take on this, and we've always had this political divide. We don't need that. We're working together. In fact, we need to work together worse than anything now because of where we are. So, my 2 cents, Mayor. Sorry.
I appreciate that, sir. You know, you have maintenance and operations that those funds cannot be spent on, correct? And then,
No, look at your ordinance. If it's a park, yes.
okay,
But not if
But
it's,
not if it's a city hall or the gym, unless the gym's declared a park.
I think it is.
It
Okay,
is.
if it is, then yes, they can. But your ordinance states that, so double check your ordinance.
I think this much is listed as part of it.
I'm pretty certain that is. So,
General
but it's
operations.
general
is not
operations
what
of the city.
Right, they can't do sewer work, they can't.
I went through all that with you, I gave you a breakdown as well. when
that's
we
why I
had a
stated
meeting.
that. I thought we were on the
You
same
know,
page.
the commission had also submitted a parks maintenance agreement between the city and the A&P. That was denied. A memorandum of understanding of what works needed to be done on the parks, where we earmarked the funds to be used on the parks based on that former attorney's advice. That was also presented to the city. That was also rejected. We, as a commission, have been trying to work with the council and the city. We've been stopped every part of the way. This is not saying that the commission is not cooperating. We are. That's the reason why you and I had that meeting. Nothing came of it. We want to resolve this, so let's go ahead and move forward and resolve it, please.
I think that's a good idea. And I think that we keep this attitude moving forward, we could put Marty back together.
Yes.
Because we've got a lot of damages down at Lowbird Park that maybe potentially A&P could help us fix, right?
We'll see.
So
Read your ordinance, because they work for the city, they are not a separate entity.
That is not entirely correct.
Well,
Have you read the entire city code on this?
No.
Yes, very couple of
The state code is, okay, I'll.
supersedes any city.
Let's finish our own committee.
So I would change my motion, or to either have y'all do a waiver to allow the A and B to pick up the project, or,
Mr.
You
Jackson?
can't make a motion.
no, I'm changing my ask, is what I'm changing. I can make a motion, they have to actually make it, but what I'm asking for is y'all to either let the A and B take it over, or just give the land back to the A and B, either one. We just want to get the project done. I mean, it's just sitting there, we want to do something for the city.
We hear you. Maybe the chair could reach out to me and the chair and I could have a conversation about that.
Yes.
I
That
think
would
that's
solve
what
it
I'm
right there.
asking for.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone of us have an objection.
All right, great.
Let's move on, Dave.
Great. Okay, we're going to move on to the next item. The next item pertains to code enforcement. I do not know what you have about code enforcement, but I have some ideas as well, but we can hear yours first.
Okay, if everybody just take one and pass it around. This
You have
is,
any more?
I'm sorry,
You have more?
yeah,
So there's plenty here.
I'll leave it,
That's fine.
in case you don't have to.
that's okay. So this is a resolution that would have where the chief of police would be the code enforcement. Would do for code enforcement. So, let me just read through it so everybody
Yeah,
can hear
just
it.
read it,
Do
yeah.
you mind if I talk about code enforcement before we propose a resolution?
Sure.
It's, okay. So, in our municipal code, yes, the ultimate responsibility of city code enforcement falls back on the head of the police department, which is the chief of police. Everybody got that? The head of the police department ultimately falls back on his department for code enforcement. However, we had put out a solicitation advertisement for a code enforcement officer. I received back a very qualified applicant. However, we were going through this budgetary process, and I didn't want to go and hire somebody and unfortunately have to turn around and fire them in 3 weeks. So, if you all would like to see a code enforcement officer in this city, then I'm glad to proceed. The money's in the budget. This is already in the municipal code book. I'm ready to proceed with code enforcement if you all are. I've
We
got,
just can't, I don't think we can, honestly, I don't think we can afford, I know you say it's in the
16
budget and we've
hours,
got it.
it's 16 hours a week on a part-time basis with no benefits. I mean, it's part-time work, and the individual.
What kind of authority does that code enforcement officer have?
Well, the code enforcement officer job description happens to be right here. And if you would like to know exactly what authority they have, I would advise you to read the code book, like word for word. It's on the city's website. Go, when you get home tonight, look it up and read it to see what his authority has. But it's going to be to enforce the city codes. So if the city code enforcement officer was driving down 3rd Street, and I'm not picking on 3rd Street, but if that city code enforcement officer drove down 3rd Street and he saw grass up to someone's chest, well, he might try to figure out who the legal owner of that property is, and he might send that legal owner a letter to the taxpayer address, and that address that someone's going to get is going to be a letter from the code enforcement officer that says, hey, you're in violation of this. I need you to please cut your grass. You've got X amount of time to do it. If you don't comply with this request, a citation would be issued. Now, we've talked about code enforcement prior to this council coming in. It was a request made by citizens for the last prior year, and most cities have a code enforcement officer.
Like Horseshoe Bend around that one the other day.
Okay, Horseshoe Bend has one. We know Cherokee Village has one. We know Ash Flat has one. Hardy has not had a code enforcement officer. Now, real clearly, if my grass is up to my chest at my house, and I see a police officer coming and knocking on my door with a gun on his hip and red and blue lights in my driveway to tell me that my grass is too high, I'm probably going to be a little perturbed. I'm probably going to feel a little intimidated by the police coming to tell me to cut my grass. Now, if a nice gentleman walks up to my yard, he's got a smile on his face, and he's standing out there in the grass, and he says, man, this grass is just a little high. You think you can cut it in a couple weeks? That person's going to be more receptive to how that message was delivered to them versus somebody with handcuffs coming and knocking on their door that just got done arresting somebody for a DWI. That it's way over here versus cutting grass. So this job description that was approved back in 2017, it's listed in the administrative department. The money's in the administrative department. Reports to the city mayor. He's going to report to me. I had a conversation today with our police chief, and he is more than willing to help with this process because it's going to be a learning process. We're asking an individual to come out and say, hey, your grass is too tall, or hey, you've got too many cars in your yard, or hey, you didn't get a building permit, or hey, you need to cut that tree down because it's about to fall on your neighbor's property, or hey, you've got too many chickens in your yard, whatever it may be. That individual is going to do his job on a different level versus seeing a police officer pull in my driveway in Hardy, Arkansas, where people have had no enforcement on city codes ever, and it's going to be a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. There's people that have lived here their entire lives, Ms. Hoffman, that have had cows in their front yard. I can think of one individual right now that's got cows in his yard. Does that city code book say he can have that many cows in his yard? Absolutely not. That individual is going to come to me just as soon as they get done being told they can't have their livestock that they've had in Hardy, Arkansas for 80 years on their great-granddaddy's land. This is a hard pill to swallow for people. So we're fine to proceed and do it, but it takes somebody with grace. It takes somebody with the ability to communicate, and it takes somebody with patience, because nobody in Arkansas gets in a rush to do anything. Everybody here is real calm. So I'd like to have somebody that can be calm and work with people to correct issues, as opposed to writing 17 violations and they end up in our district court and then they get thrown out and it wasted everybody's time.
So what do we do about the properties that are abandoned and fall? I'm thinking about the one that I look at every day.
Have you read the code book that talks about the abandoned properties and condemnation and the court process? And if we were to do that, real quick, if we go onto someone's property and we say, hey, that's not safe, and this governing body approves that, okay, well then all of a sudden the city has to spend money to go tear that house down. So then once the city spends the money to tear that house down, we have to file a lien on that property for the cost of that. And once we do that, that house may never change hands for 50 years. And we would never get any of that money back.
Can it not go on auction? Can the city not take possession and go on auction?
I am not about to start taking people's real property. No, ma'am.
Because it's my understanding that there's I don't know how many, there's a number of the properties that are actually owned by nursing homes that they had to be forfeited. You know, when they went into a nursing home, they had to sign over their properties.
I have not seen one nursing home own it. I don't not believe you, but I've not seen a nursing home in this town own a piece of real estate. However, if they do, that is something that the city attorney does. He handles that entire legal process on condemning a property. So that would be something he does, and he would handle that legal process.
Okay, so that doesn't have to do with code enforcement?
Well, initially it starts with code enforcement, but the code enforcement officer is not going to handle the legal battles of trying to place a tax lien on a property. And if you want to try to take somebody's property for them, I wish you the best, and I mean that in the nicest way.
No, and that's not, that's not what I want to do. I'm just like, but our town's falling apart. There's places that, I mean, it's just falling apart.
There has been neglected properties in this city for what, y'all? Have we been around 140 years?
But do we want it to always be that way? Just because it's always been that way?
Nobody wants
to let the code officer send a letter to that person on
It would
file.
help to have a code officer. Look at your other towns and how they work, like Main Street having abandoned properties even on it not being used for storefronts. I mean, there's ordinances in all towns. Start investigating the different ordinances. The code enforcer is going to help us push it. But I will say the ordinance right now states that the chief of police is responsible for being like our code enforcer currently. So if we get a code enforcer, if the chief of police duties are code enforcement, which he will not be doing, we'll have a code enforcer, are we going to reduce the pay of our chief then, since his many hats will be reduced? And that could be a reduction for budget, and then it will pay for our code enforcer. That's something to just keep in mind.
Well, that's one idea and way to look at it. However, the money is in the payroll already. And again, it's 16 hours a week. I think it was about $12,000 annually. We only have 3 months left of this year. So for the rest of the year, we might expend $4,000 on a code enforcement officer if I call him tomorrow. And I would really, really, really like to not lose an interim chief of police because we decided to cut his pay, who's not even making what the prior chief was making and doing just that work as well. I understand your suggestion, but for $4,000 to get for the rest of the year, that money is left in that budget, so we could have someone to do that. Now, he's limited to 16 hours a week. I requested, if we were to hire him, to have him for 4 hours a day, Monday to Thursday. He's going to be handling the code enforcement and taking care of the building permits, because those two go hand in hand as they're building codes and city codes, and then be able to prepare our planning and zoning agendas and to work with our building official, Mr. Creasy, to be sure that when people are erecting structures that they're done correctly and that they're actually getting inspections throughout the construction process, which is very important. It's not just that you get a permit, it's that you inspect these properties as the construction continues. So with his experience in plumbing and I believe electrical and general contracting, I'm excited to see this happen, because I think it's a good thing as we look 50 years in the future and people say, well, that city council 50 years ago, they weren't doing a good job of code enforcement, because that's what we're saying right now about the city council 50 years ago. The city's changed. It's not a town anymore. It is a city. Do we want code enforcement? Well, it's in the budget. Do our citizens want it? Probably not. Y'all get ready. Citizens are not going to be happy with this. They are not going to be told what to do. We may have people move out of the city. They may say, we're going to the county. If you're telling me I can't have my cows anymore in Hardy, we're selling our house and we're moving.
Can we not pass, we can pass ordinances, those grandfathering people in. We could state.
You could amend the municipal code anytime, yes.
I think that would be another, like, almost like a budget meeting, but we'd go through, like, what do we really want?
But they're currently not in compliance right now. So there's really not any grandfathering in anybody.
I do agree with, if they had it for 80 years, like, we'd have to have some kind of something.
I think we need like either a working meeting to discuss the actual details of what we want this person to do and how we want
Well, it's
to.
been done in
go about it?
2017, and here's his job description, and I'll leave this with y'all to look
You
at.
got it already.
But I'm telling you, I'm
Is
fixing
that
it.
it? Can you email a copy of that to us?
That's yours here. Thank you.
I think everybody would probably like one. Thank you.
Them are on record at the city, I can produce a copy of that, but that says what that person is responsible for as approved back in 2017, and it has not been touched since then. The only other thing that I'm gonna have that individual do is work on planning and zoning, because people are building stuff and they're actually getting permits, so it would be nice for someone to take care of that. But this, what you've got here, this is already in our code. It's just a matter of y'all all nodding at me and saying, hey, go ahead and hire that code officer. Because that's what I'm fixing to do.
Yeah.
Y'all ready for me to hire a code officer?
Yeah.
I'm seeing nods, so that's what I'm fixing to do, okay? That person will report to me, we'll work coincide with the police department as well. We're gonna figure out how to actually make it work. It's going to be a big sandwich to take a bite of, so y'all get ready.
Where is the person coming from? Like, we don't know background.
Yeah,
Until I communicate with that individual to be certain that he's not changed his mind from the time that I talked to him a few weeks ago, I'm just gonna keep that right here for now. I wanna be sure
Good
he's still
point.
interested.
That's a
So
good
has he ever dealt with legalities and that kind of stuff?
Yep.
So he's done code enforcement before?
This is an experienced individual.
What's
Is that
next
what
on our
Jason
agenda?
Creasy- Does he do that now? Is Jason Creasy the code enforcer kinda now?
Jason Creasy is not the code enforcer. Jason Creasy is the building official.
Oh, building.
We're gonna move on to the next item, right, y'all?
Yeah.
Okay, so next month, as long as that individual hasn't changed his mind, I'll see if he can come to the meeting and y'all get to visit with him, okay? All right, the next item is 2025 FOIA changes from Act 505. I just wanted to put this in the packet and let y'all have a copy of it. This is what defines public meetings and what is not a public meeting. So for individuals that are on the city council, for individuals that are on any commission of the city, this is what is a public meeting and what is not a public meeting. So I just wanted to put that in there as that came from the municipal league, and it talks about clear changes that were made from Act 505 that are now in process, okay? So just take that with you. And the last thing we've got on here is discussion, which is the review of Resolution 2025-01. I noticed when we had notes from last month that we talked about that we wanted to review this resolution. So in this copy of the resolution that we passed back in January, I think the 13th, we've got this resolution. And I think the portion that was communicated that we wanted to look at is like the second to last paragraph where it talks about the meeting package will be placed in the council member's designated city hall mailbox at 12 p.m. noon on Friday, or be electronically delivered before the regular meeting takes place. I think that language wants to be amended, and if we want to amend that language to be "and be electronically delivered before the regular meeting takes place," I think that would make everybody happy, but it's up for y'all to discuss on what you want. You want to tell me what you want?
Electronics fine with me.
Excuse me, sir?
Electronics fine with me.
Okay.
Well, but it's the
timing.
It's the timing.
So we're going to
You're
change the word
saying
"or" to
too
"and," is that
soon?
what we're
But
asking?
we need to get it sooner, and, because the way
It's
that
the
it
same
reads
time, whether
now.
it's in the box or it's the mail.
Or electronically get the same.
So I'm fine with that. Y'all want to change the word "and"? And then I'll bring it back next month, and I'll have us a new resolution that amends that.
Change it to "and."
Take care of that. But y'all had it, I think, this time in a timely fashion.
Or-
I think I emailed it a little bit
Yeah, I
after.
got mine.
Had
Not
to
even,
scan it.
not even and, because it still puts it electronically delivered before the regular meeting. We need to have it say that it will be there at 12 p.m. noon in the
Yeah.
box and delivered by 12 p.m. noon electronically.
Okay, and be delivered for, hey, can I ask y'all for a little bit of grace? Can I have till 1 o'clock? It takes a lot to get that copy, and then it takes a minute to get it scanned in, and then to create the
1 hour
actual-
won't make a difference, till 1 o'clock's
Are
fine.
y'all okay with me having till 1 o'clock? That gives me an hour to switch from copying stuff, not have a lunch, and then immediately get into getting into your inboxes.
So 1 p.m., not noon, on Friday, can be delivered
Electronically, though, on the same one.
and be electronically delivered.
By 1 p.m. on noon Friday. Is that fair? Or excuse me, by 1 PM on Friday.
Yeah,
Sound good?
I mean,
that's good.
if all the documents are ready and in your computer, I mean, can you just email them?
It's a whole lot easier to
First.
print everything out because I have to make a packet, put it in order, and then I just scan it in.
It's a half-a-day job.
It is more than a half a day. And then I get copier jams,
Yeah.
and I'm asking you for an hour of grace without a lunch so I can get it to you.
Mayor, this might be a great place to put in your packet content. What is your content in the packet? It's never defined.
And I think
All
we
you
kind
do
of,
is just list four things, this report, this report, this report, this report.
excellent idea. So instead of rewriting that resolution that you're saying, that can go right here in this resolution. So if you can just get with me sometime in the next 21 days, we can add that to this resolution that will establish the agenda format for city council meetings that will include what documentation is put in there. Is that kosher?
Yeah.
That would be a whole lot easier, so I'm just gonna make a note of that right there. And Natalie's request, which is fine by me, and I'm good with it.
Define that, yep, in this
Mayor?
resolution.
You might want to add that into your first of the year packet, so it's always done.
Thanks. But this is what we done at the first of the year, is our first resolution. We're just updating the rules to govern, okay, y'all?
Yeah.
So when we do this again in January, we'll take what we amended and put forth and then go from there in 3 months. Sound good?
Good.
Okay, just some good rules, make good meetings, I say. All right, so that was discussion on the review of Resolution 2025-01, and now we're at the citizen commentary portion of our meeting.
least 3
Mr. Monroe,
minutes.
I already know what you're going to say, I'll get it updated, but.
Do what?
I'll get it updated. I already know what you're going to say.
What am I gonna say?
You're going to say, update the city website, because it's updated, and I will get it updated.
I try to go to as many meetings as I can, but I review the minutes. You know, the last minutes that are on our website is January of this year,
That's correct.
you know.
We've got and just so you know, the guy that does that, was
No, that's fine,
all
that's
last
fine.
week, he's back
You
today.
know, they need to be there, that's
They need to be there, I agree.
The only other thing I want to ask, kind of like with documents, the direction you're heading, I think Natalie, you had a lot to do with these resolutions, which I really like. You know, but you're addressing revenues and everything. Now, I saw expenditures. Do y'all know what the total liabilities are? Do any of you know what the total liabilities for the city are today?
No, total.
It was given out in the budget work session.
No, I'm talking loans, I'm talking total, like if you granted GL or,
Yeah, I have it from the work session.
pardon me?
I said I have it from the work session.
Okay,
I have to
is it-
look
is
it
it
up.
in here? Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know that it's
Now,
actually.
but is that something,
They were aware of when we met last month,
okay.
on the 16th.
Now, is that something that is going to be maybe available to them on a monthly basis?
I mean, we can do all
And
that.
me as a private citizen, do I need to FOIA that, or is that,
Just come see me.
oh, okay.
Seriously, come see me.
It's just when I was on A&P and I was treasurer and secretary, I kind of took over what was in place. And Greg will attest to it. You know, we did our minutes every time. Every meeting, I stated how much money was in the bank accounts. It was in the minutes, and the bank statements and the minutes were handed to the recorder treasurer. And they were immediately, I understand, but they were immediately on the website. Okay? I've heard other cities around here that it's part of their, and I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard other cities, it's right there in their packet. You know, look guys, this is how much money we have in the bank, this is our total debt. Okay, now let's decide how we're gonna spend money.
I think that was Miss Natalie's
That's
intention.
the-
I agree.
With the resolution, that's.
Yeah, no, I
the
understand.
Beginning, expenditures, what do we have left over in the bank, kind of.
Yeah,
show
right.
which ones we're at.
I mean, it's,
Because before, that was the issue, is if I was asked and I'm in charge of the financials of the city, I could not know. And I was like, we need to have it, we know exactly where we are.
I've run a business for 40-some years, and every 6 months I have a financial statement. I have my assets, I have my liabilities. When things were really busy, I had a secretary for 10 years, I had a legal pad in the bottom drawer of my desk, okay? Every week, every Friday, I went in there, money in the bank, money coming in, money over,
Your time's up.
okay? I mean, that's very pertinent. If we're making decisions, we're buying new trucks, we're doing this, you know, that's all well and good.
I think
You
we
know,
all
if it's
got
in the
it.
budget, that's well and good.
I think we all got on the same page at the work session with liabilities.
Yeah, but I think it's very important that the city council are all very aware of a GL or whatever, however you guys run it, you know. We need to keep track of our assets, we need to keep track of our liabilities.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. Our next speaker, the topic is Homesteaders Day, and it's the Miss Nanette Doherty.
I'll make it quick.
Hi, Nanette.
Okay, hi. Thank you all. Yep, I'm Nanette Doherty. I'm here with the Hardy History Association, and I'm going to notify that we have September 4th, that's Thursday, there's going to be a meeting at the gym to preview this year's Hardy Homesteader Day. That'll be at 5:30 in the gym. And then on Saturday, September 27th, that is Hardy Homesteaders Day, 9 to 3 in Loberg Park. And we've added Hardy Vittles and Vibes to be here in the day till 7 actually. And 5 o'clock we have a band in there for music. And then at 7 down at Market on Main, what is it called? Music on Main. And we have music starting at Dr. Thompson Park there. So we tried to elongate Homesteaders Day, include stuff here, line up down there. So that's all, that's on the calendar. So I loved hearing about August 20th because of the conditions at the park. So we're going to get some of the Homesteader and Hardy history people out there to help on that day. Yeah. And apparently Mayor has spoken with our Hardy Homesteader, Crystal Gray, and they're going to rope off some of the holes left by the big giant root logs that are gone, which is a safety issue for the public. So they're helping deal with our safety issues out there. Really, we have a concern about it, so I'm really glad to know that that's going to be addressed. And the potholes because of the horse-drawn carriages and all of the pedestrians needing to have their ankles thought about. So like I say, appreciate that. And also to let you know that we are going to be getting the Hardy History Association accommodations for electricity at 4 different sites. Because we don't have electricity, we're going to get some generators. We're going to get some extra porta potties because the bathrooms won't work and the public shouldn't try to use them. We're going to get porta potties. So we're trying to help mitigate all of the issues over there. I don't know if ever it's a park that A&P will ever be able to help work on the park. If that ever works out, it'd be great. So I just want to inform everybody about what that we have going on, and especially those times and dates for the public. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. Thank you for doing Homesteaders Day. Keeping it going. Okay, last speaker this evening, topic is the budget, and it's Mr. Jason Jackson.
Yeah, I want to thank Jimmy for stepping forward and expressing, I feel like what is a major concern. The mayor just told all of y'all that y'all don't have the money to spend, but then y'all just voted to add more to the budget. So I'm just a little confused. If you've got $200-something thousand in the bank, but you're agreeing to spend $500, where's the money going to come from?
So we anticipate revenues to come in, there is cash.
So we're way, if me and John's running numbers, we're way back on numbers than what y'all have projected, way back. So the anticipation of thinking this money's gonna come in, we know it's not. So the money, and then you say raise taxes, I know you said that twice, but you can't raise taxes without people agreeing, and I just don't. I'm with everyone else, and I think everyone's gonna agree. Taxes aren't gonna get raised, and for a year and a half, we know. But I don't think everyone's going to agree to do it. So y'all going to go borrow more money to survive, or what's your game plan?
Yeah, so we have the funds right now going through the rest of the year as we come together for the budget in 26.
But you got 260,000 now, but you're spending 400. So where's the extra?
I don't know what 400,000 figure you're exactly referring to. I think you could cross it over multiple budgets, but there's different.
Yeah, in total you're spending. Yeah, in total, you're going to spend more than you have.
Well,
so,
we hope not.
In the budget you are, so that's what we're looking at.
It's there for emergency situations, and like I said, department heads work really well with us, not to not to go over those things.
So we're 100% that we're not gonna be borrowing money by the end of the year?
I don't see a reason to borrow money other than the end of the year unless, which conversation to have. We are gonna have deadlines to fix things for the FEMA process. I don't have $1 million to go out and spend $1 million to put Loberg Park back. So I mean, yeah.
No, but I feel like y'all's in a position, and especially now, you have all this problems going on, but y'all don't even have a city hall yet, and made a claim on it.
We
So,
have, actually.
Then, I mean, it's been months, and we got, parts are down, everything's down.
It's not insured.
We're spending more money than we have to get by the year, and we haven't even addressed all the issues that we have. So, I mean, y'all aren't sitting down and doing, y'all should be doing budget meetings and working meetings to try to figure out how to cut a lot of things. And Main Street, the poor people on Main Street aren't getting anything. I mean, they've been held out to cold, and nothing's being done. So, I mean, I don't know that a handful of people could actually sit down and say how much money y'all have up there, which is kind of crazy. And to say that we don't need to cut it just because we got a few more months left, I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in expenditure. So I think every day it should be a day that you look at, I mean, you had a major catastrophe, but nobody's looking at the money, where you're gonna get it from or how you're gonna make it happen. And every day that goes
Jason.
by, we lose more money from
Thank
people
you.
not coming in.
Your time's up.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate your input. That was our final individual who has signed up for citizen commentary this evening. This time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I've got a first from Dr. Berry to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second from Ms. Natalie to adjourn. Via voice vote, all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned at 8:10 PM.